Civilization 7 is the newest addition to the long-storied, almost 35-year-old Civilization series. With Civ 7 coming almost 10 years after the release of Civ 6, you may be asking yourself, is it worth picking up, and what do I think about the game? First off, I have to give a disclaimer that this game was only released on February 11th, so my opinions are still somewhat preliminary. I think a question we can get out of the way and delve into a little more later is, should you buy Civilization 7? I think the best way to answer that, unfortunately, is it depends. If you have $70+ to spend right now, it may be worth picking up the game. While it is not a perfectly polished game, there are relatively minimal bugs, and honestly, it does take some interesting creative liberties compared to previous games. That being said, if you are in love with Civ 6 or Civ 5, this may not be the game for you. Civ 7, at least to me, feels more like Humankind 2 and less like Civilization 7. If you're new to the series and want to play a game that will constantly be getting updates and will be talked about in the media, I think you should probably pick it up if you have the money. Before talking about the bad of Civilization 7, we should go over the things I actually like about the game. Firaxis has streamlined a lot of features of the game, for better or worse. This includes the removal of builders, the simplification of certain features like religion, and getting rid of city-states and barbarians and replacing them with independent powers. While not all these things are perfect, I do feel that they make the game simpler and less difficult to engage with for new players. Civ 7 also brings on a new town system instead of just cities. Towns are how you start a settlement now in Civilization 7, and as they get larger, you can specifically specialize your town with town focuses to pick from various advantages. You can also send food from towns to your cities connected, and eventually convert these towns into cities themselves. Another feature that I like is the introduction of influence in diplomacy. Influence is a new currency to the Civilization system that you get through various things, such as leader traits, narrative events, tiles, buildings, and more. You can then spend this currency on various diplomatic actions, but because influence is finite, you can run out before you want to do everything you can. I'll quickly go over a couple other features. These include navigable rivers if they are large enough, the ability to customize your civ through various different ages, and commander units that allow you to stack other units nearby to follow them and to give benefits to those units when in battle. That being said, there are a lot of things that I dislike about Civilization 7. I think first and foremost, while I did say the customization of your civ between different ages is interesting, I do feel that this takes it away from what Civilization at the core was. Instead of playing as Rome, America, or India through the ages, instead you play some weird hybrid following a specific leader. You really aren't playing as the United States in this game, but Benjamin Franklin. Even then, you're not playing USA Benjamin Franklin, but you're playing Mongolian Benjamin Franklin, or Chinese Benjamin Franklin, or Incan Benjamin Franklin as you go between the ages. This just feels like a weird change that was unnecessary. And while I appreciate this game not feeling exactly like Civ 6, I think Firaxis took a step too far. On that note, there are other weird changes that come with ages. These include that when one civ gets to the next stage, all civs get to the next stage. While this does limit civ snowballing compared to previous games, it also makes Civ 7 feel less like Civ. Part of the fun and charm of Civ which is missing in this game is that you can't just be a modernist guy fighting people from very old previous eras. On top of that, when you go between ages, various things just disappear, including randomly some of your troops just being gone, and crises just magically ending. Another issue I have with Civ 7 is that there's less interaction between nations. Peace deals are significantly more basic, with you only being able to request cities. Diplomacy and the UN system is heavily limited or missing, and trade just feels shortchanged in this game. A few other things that I'll quickly go over which I dislike. Civ 7 has done away with the strategic view. This just feels like something that the devs could have easily added, which they were lazy on bringing in. Cities can't attack anymore. And finally, maps are smaller. The largest map you can make is just normal sized, and it just doesn't feel the same as exploring a massive map in the previous games. That all being said, I do imagine that this game will receive significant DLC and updates. And like with the other Civ games, especially Civ 6, while it wasn't perfect on launch, I'm sure in a couple years the game will be great. It is a little unfortunate to me that I feel like they've delved too far away from what Civilization was. But while I haven't loved all my time playing Civ 7, I will imagine that I'll continue to play it, keep learning the game, and hopefully with future updates and fixes to certain things that I don't like, maybe the game will grow on me even more. We'll have to wait and see what Firaxis does in the future. Sincerely, Wonder Productions.